Boom.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to give a recap. This is the fourth edition of my series, Fit at 60. So I made it through the competition. I lost between, when we did the math, fluctuating back and forth, about 50 pounds on and off, back and forth through the process. So I started in January and then it went all the way almost 7 months to the competition. Biggest problem was excess fat in the abdominal area where I had surgery. Not a problem, it just is what it is. I still competed, didn't care. And next year, we're working on that by getting after, because after I talked to my doctor, it's going to take another 8 months to cut that, because I've already cut fat almost my entire body. So I'm down to 15%. Still got to get rid of gut. So now I did blow up a little bit after the competition because I did eat calamari, I ate pizza. So I ate a bunch of carbs, which naturally is going to put on about 10 pounds. So now I'm in the process of shifting that this week, started today, going back down into my post-training regimen. And so that means I'll limit carbs, up my proteins and eat the carbs I need just to retain muscle. I got into the wrong category because I never done. So I did True Now, so it was open. So I was in there with young guys that are just fit as heck, and there were guys that take certain products. So it was okay. Now moving on from that experience and learning what I learned from it, I'm going to work harder. I got to really curtail my diet, which I did a lot during that competition, but I'm going to curtail it more. But what I'll tell everybody, it was just the mental piece of it all. And it's like anything else. If you've done anything like Swiss military competitions or any kind of military competition, I used to be on the Army interoperability team where you had to be fit as hell to do those competitions in Europe. And I was on that team for about a year and a half. And pretty much I was probably running at that time about 2-3%, 4% body fat, because I had to be as extremely fit as possible. Because it's just a lot of just taxing and demanding on the body. So it wasn't a bad experience. Will I do it again? Absolutely. I'm doing 2026. There is a process, and I will tell all you guys that are sitting around, drinking beer, some of you guys are on medicinal drugs that either the government gives you or, whatever your civilian doctor give you. If you can wean yourself off of those, that's a bonus. I will tell you, after 40, stop drinking beer. That's my strongest recommendation to anyone. If you can get off of beer, that's like 90% of your battle. Alcohol is still a problem if you're drinking it like it's like no tomorrow. But if you cut back, you should be fine. But that's the biggest issue right now that I see guys over 40 is beer, and beer is like the gut buster, right? So just be brutally honest, dad bods are not an end thing. They're just not. So whoever sold that piece of garbage, body positivity crap, that was a bunch of people that were overweight, out of shape, and they sold it to the general public with bad health ideologies. So now that that's become a norm, we normalize something bad. So let me just cut that through the chase. And some people agree with me, some people don't agree with me. But let me tell you, there's humanly possible, no person is humanly supposed to be obese. Just let me be brutally honest. There, in modern times, there is no one that should be obese in modern times, because you have the technology, you have the food, you have everything you can to take care of your body. Now, as far as myself, it was a massive challenge to curtail my diet for the first 90 days. Did it? Not a problem. I will say this: if it wasn't for Juan, my instructor, he really kept me grounded on the things that I needed to do, and he stayed on me. And he's a great guy, but he's like 31 years old, and I'm 60, so his metabolism runs like so. Some things for him work a lot faster than they would for me. So you have to make those adjustments to get there. And there's other things that you got to do. You got to step back, know your blood work, know what your levels are. There are a lot of guys on TRT. I don't take TRT. There's a lot of guys taking different kind of supplements. And that's who it is. It's like in Hollywood, you guys see all these jack guys in Hollywood, but they're all on HG, right? They're on the hormone stuff, whatever, or some kind of steroid. So, and it's expensive, like $12,000, $6,000 what these guys are on. And you'll see that at the competitions if you ever go. I'm going to compete again. I know what I got to work on, and I'm going to push myself one more time. It's the Georgia Southern thing about when we used to win championships back in the year. We used to always go one more time. So I'm going to push myself one more time. I just circle back and just looking at the whole process, I will tell you it was not mentally taxing for me. And I think a lot of that had to do is because of the jobs I had in the military and the level that I executed at for 30 years in the military. It helped me over the hurdle. For those guys that have never done it, I'm going to tell you, young guys, you need to be able to push yourself. And you got to push yourself to exhaustion and to break your body down and then rebuild it back up. And a lot of people can't do that. So anybody that tells me right now, if you're in your 40s, 50s, or your 30s, that I just don't have the time. It's total, I hate saying, I hate to cuss on here, but it's total bullshit. You either decide that you're going to go join a 24-hour gym and you get up early in the morning like I do at 3. And even when I was in the military, I would get up earlier, and I had a gym membership at a 24-hour gym, even though the base gym opened at whatever time. I didn't care because I realized I needed to get in the gym and work out. And I'm like everybody else. I have my ebbs and flows throughout my life with weight. It's just not like, oh, yeah, I maintain this. I don't have a high metabolism. But, you have to walk that dog and put it in context, right? So I challenge everyone now that every time you feel sorry for yourself, that's a choice. All right. People go, somebody hit me up the other day and they're just talking about their struggle. And I laid out, look, and we all struggle. So first and foremost, let me say this. I want to thank all the people with courage that have reached out to me on DMs or got in contact with me to figure out how to help them get their health better and where to go, what they needed to start. I also want to thank everyone that's reached out with me and talked about their depression, talked about their struggles in life, and asked me kind of like sort of how do I keep myself up. And I definitely want to thank the several companies in the last 4 or 5 weeks that I've spoken at that have allowed me to come in and tell my story or tell parts of my story, not just about, the bodybuilding, but about just, what does it take to become the next level person, and that's my whole point is when I say keep it rolling, man, is that you got to become the next level person. And sadly, what I see is I see a ton of people that have settled, I'll always be big. I'll always be this. I'll always be that. That's a choice. Not knocking you. That's a choice. But I will challenge you that to get fit and be at the best optimal level that you can operate at, that's a choice too, right? So I challenge people, but I want to thank those people. I also want to thank Juan, my trainer. Outstanding job. Dude, you are like next level. If you're in the Tampa area, he goes all the way from Channelside all the way to Lithia, Florida. If you are in the Tampa area, he not only does the bodybuilding thing, he also does the personal training thing. And he has a 78-year-old lady that is fit as heck with a 6-pack almost. So what I'm telling you is he's worth it. He's worth his value and gold, and he works with people. So if you get a chance, reach out to Juan on Instagram or Facebook, Juan Musbe, and Musbe. And you can just go on my feed. You can check him out, reach out to him, and become a client. He's reasonable. The other thing is I want to thank Dr. Scott over in Strong Life Chiropractic, because a lot of days I was sore and the masseuse there. A lot of days I was sore. There's a lot of days I needed adjustments, and man, that whole team there made it happen as I was going through this process. And then shout out to my veteran friends, all the veterans that, got in contact with me and told me they were back on track and they were getting their ass off the sofa. Man, that's some hooah shit to me, man. The fact that you guys write me and say, look, I've had enough. I'm going to get off the sofa and make a difference in my life. So, you guys get after it because it's a choice, right? And if you're in the military and your prior service, I don't care what your VA rating is, right? Your VA rating does matter to you, but it also means that you still can work within the confines of whatever your rating is. And I get tired of somebody always going with the see in the gym, blah, blah. No, man, look, you got one life. if you know you got shoulder issues, don't lift heavy. You know you got knee issues, like right now. Like I know I got knee issues on both knees, right? I know my left knee is jacked up, and I don't want to do knee replacement. And my right knee's jacked up, and my only alternative is knee replacement. I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to go in. I can't squat 500 pounds. I can't squat, 6 plates, 7 plates. I squat like a schoolgirl. I squat lightweight, man, a lot of reps till it hurts, right? And if it starts to hurt, I stop squatting, or I get on or I can't do hack squats, so I just do wall squats and put the ball against the wall, put my back against, and just sit down in a squat and hold it. You got to learn to do things that you can still stay in shape and work around your injuries, right? Now, the one injury that I can't fix is the one that you have to fix yourself, is the mental injuries. And like we all have been in combat, we all have mental injuries, right? It's how you decide to predicate to deal with them, and I've dealt with soldiers that made that final decision, the wrong one, because they didn't want to take on the stress that they had in their lives. So my attitude is you take on the stress you have in your life and you take it, face it, head on. And one way to combat stress is being fit, right? And the more fitter you are, the easier it is to deal with anything that you have from the past that has to do with your combat operations and just, post-traumatic stress from any events. Lastly, before I get out of here, I just want to thank the community and the bodybuilding community, Tim Gardner, Titan, and everybody that literally shook my hand, came out, supported me as a human being, and gave me a lot of credit for being a 60-year-old guy, even though they all thought I was 40-something. I don't know why. And gave me a lot of support and a lot of love, man. The bodybuilding community, man, you guys were like, it was true love up there in that room while I was going through it. I'm going to be bigger and better next year. That's my goal, and I learned a lot, and we learn as we progress in life, and just remember, guys, there's always going to be somebody to judge you. There's always going to be somebody pointing a finger at you, and there's always going to be somebody laughing at you. But it doesn't have to be your reality. Their reality is not yours. And half the time, I really don't give a damn what anybody thinks anyway. I'm going to do what I got to do because I only got so much time on this earth, and I ain't got time to worry about other people's their personal issues, right? So you work on you, focus on you, and do what's best for you. And with that being said, man, keep it rolling, guys. And I'll be starting here in another couple of weeks to get after it. But I appreciate all the support I got for round 1 of Tampa Pro, man. Later.